The Jewish Channel's Week in Review. Was Shakespeare's work actually written by a Sephardic Jewish woman? One theater troupe thinks so. How the Orthodox are growing in number, which could increase their influence. A new play takes a more historical approach to a theme of Jewish revenge you'll see in Quentin Tarantino's movies. And more of the Jewish news that's changing your world in this webcast version of the Week in Review. Hello, and welcome to the Jewish Channel's Week in Review. I'm Stephen I. Weiss. More than 3/4 of the Jewish school population in America is in Orthodox schools. It's the first time that the number has reached that level in a survey of Jewish schools performed by the Avichai Foundation, and a strong suggestion about the future character of the American Jewish community. Students in Jewish schools show the highest levels of remaining affiliated with the Jewish community, marrying Jews, and raising Jewish children. Some numbers that look particularly large are the continued explosion of the ultra-Orthodox population. While modern Orthodox and centrist Orthodox schools overall have seen moderate change in enrollment, schools categorized as yeshiva or Hasidic have seen enrollment grow 48% in just the past 10 years. These ultra-Orthodox schools alone now represent a majority of all students enrolled in Jewish schools. If the trend of the past 10 years continues, the Orthodox as a group would enroll 228,000 students in the year 2018, meaning that the Orthodox alone would have enough students in Jewish schools to equal the entire Jewish school population today. And none of this even includes schools affiliated with the Chabad-Lubavitch Hasidic movement, which enrolls many non-Orthodox students, and has more than 12,000 students at present. And with the start of the school year, education news in general is a hot topic. A new Hebrew language charter school opened this week, offering public school students the opportunity to learn Hebrew alongside their general interest coursework. The school, the Hebrew Language Academy in Brooklyn, New York, has 160 students in kindergarten and first grade. While that school is seen by some as a solution to the so-called tuition crisis of Jewish parents' increasing inability to pay for Jewish day school education, one Jewish private school announced it raised $75 million recently. The Heschel School raised the money as part of a $100 million campaign to erect a new school building for kindergarten through 8th grade classes. The $75 million raised so far comes from just 9 sources, including one gift of $33 million from philanthropist Ronald Stanton, who previously gave $100 million to Yeshiva University, making him one of the largest, if not the largest, funders of Jewish schooling in history. And on the topic of education, one personality almost everyone's guaranteed to come across in school is William Shakespeare. We're all familiar with Shakespeare, but can you imagine him as a Sephardic Jewish woman? One scholar has, and has assembled a theater troupe to prove it. Rebecca Honig-Friedman has that story.
Little is known about William Shakespeare, the actor from 17th century Stratford-upon-Avon, beyond the fact that he was the author of some of the most beloved plays and poems of the Western canon. Or was he?
I believe the relationship is that Shakespeare was a playbroker, and he was brought in to be the front man for these plays.
John Hudson is not the first to question whether Shakespeare was the true author of the works we've come to know as his. A great many academic works have suggested other individuals, like Francis Bacon, actually wrote the works of Shakespeare. But John Hudson is the first to suggest that Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, and all the rest were written by a Murano Jewish woman of Italian descent. Emilia Bassano Lanier, a contemporary of Shakespeare's, was the first woman in England to publish an original volume of poetry, the Salve Deus Rex Judaeorum, or Hail God, King of the Jews. She has also been widely acknowledged as a candidate for the Dark Lady who appears in Shakespeare's sonnets. But Hudson became convinced she was actually the author of those sonnets when he discovered what he considers to be anti-Christian, or Jewish, allegories in Shakespeare. His eureka moment came when he discovered a crucifixion allegory in A Midsummer Night's Dream.
I said to myself, this is a comic crucifixion story. No believing Christian from Stratford-on-Avon would write such a comic parody. It has to be written by somebody who wasn't Christian. And there was only one poet in England at the time who was a major poet, who also wrote an 1,800-line crucifixion parody called Salve Deus. So it's pretty clear, really.
To find out how you can see this revolutionary theory borne out on the stage, tune into the broadcast version of the Week in Review.
Thank you, Rebecca. Another theater effort takes a look at Jewish revenge against Nazis. No, it's not the movie Inglourious Basterds that you've surely heard of. This story is quite a lot less gory and also more in line with historical fact. Margie Rauhut reports.
It's a shocking Jewish revenge thriller about tough guys who want payback for the Holocaust. And it's not Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards, even though they came out at exactly the same time.
Started this play 3 years ago. I didn't even know that that script existed, obviously. And the fact that that movie opened across the country the same day we started previews is just such a crazy coincidence.
To see how this crazy coincidence plays out on stage and the astonishing true story behind the script, check out the full broadcast version of The Week in Review.
Finally, a few short news items of interest this week. 2 prison inmates celebrated a bat mitzvah in California last Saturday, the Jewish Journal of Los Angeles reported. The 2 women, one 25 and one 29 years old, and whose real names were not used in the report, are said to be serving sentences for a number of crimes, including drug-related offenses, but were turned on to a greater involvement in Jewish ritual by prison chaplains. The bat mitzvah ceremony included both inmates leading prayer services and reading from the Torah. Someone who's using his power of speech for less holy matters is an Australian DJ who joked about concentration camps as a diet solution. Discussing a spokesmodel for dieting service Jenny Craig in Australia who lost 25 pounds, but still, in DJ Kyle Sandilands' opinion, could stand to lose more weight, the following was broadcast.
She did say that, actually. She said she's never going to be skinny because apparently, like, her, you know, just her build is...
Yeah, that's what all fat people say.
No, okay, but
everyone, if you put her in a concentration camp and you watch the weight fall, like, she could be skinny.
You should be the ambassador, seriously, talking like that.
Sandilands has been suspended for the second time in a month. The first suspension came when Sandilands' show interviewed a 14-year-old about her sexual history while she was connected to a polygraph machine. And lastly, the Jewish channel is making news itself this week with its launch on RCN Cable Channel 268. RCN serves customers in Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Boston, New York, and Chicago, and we'll be happy to see you there. That's all for this week. For more news and analysis from the Jewish channel during the week, please check out our blog at newsdesk.tjctv.com. For the full broadcast version of The Week in Review, including additional stories, interviews, and features, please stop by the Jewish channel on cable. From all of us here at the Jewish channel, be well. The Jewish channel is available on cable, IO Optimum Cable Channel 291, Time Warner Cable Channel 528, Verizon Fios Channel 900, Cox Cable Channel 1, and now on RCN Cable's Channel 268. For more information, visit tjctv.com.